there, adventurers, and welcome back to another episode of the Awkward Dungeon Master. This week, we are going to have a character profile.
Yay!
From my husband.
Yep.
As we're stuck in quarantine, and he's going to be home for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, for the next couple months.
So. Being
a school bus driver when school's closed is fun.
So let's get started.
Yes.
Introduction to Karash, your Barbarian.
Sure. This was kind of a character that was built on the fly because I don't know if you've talked about Lowrin.
Not a ton. We've mentioned it briefly here and there, and then I mentioned that we talked about it extensively on the podcast.
Okay, well, I'll give the brief.
Yeah.
I had created a bard. He was a sea elf, 550, 600, so an old elf, and had just given up on the surface, hated everything about it, hated all the fighting, all of the people, all of the wars. So he just basically said, F this, and left into the ocean, never to go to the surface again. So I was playing kind of a crotchety old man, and was it second session, after all of the inciting incident happened, and we find out that we're going to have to go to the surface to find out where these dragnets were coming from. And Lowrin was not going to go to the surface. He was extremely against it. So in the middle of the night, he absconded to the next kingdom over and left, and I had to create a new character right there on the spot.
They are still pissed at you.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to clarify that for our audience.
Yeah.
The entire party is still upset with him.
The entire party is still upset with Lowrin. I think some of the party is still upset with me personally.
I mean, what you gonna do?
Yeah. So I decided, because the party was traveling kind of through more open ocean, so I needed someone that can get tied in there. So I made it was an Aerodon, which is a shark. Mm-hmm. One of the shark races did that come out of Pathfinder, or did you?
That was a Pathfinder monster that I turned into a D&D race for our underwater campaign. So I converted it over from the monster block, but then additionally, that name doesn't come from Pathfinder. It's called something else there, like way more blasé. So I looked up the scientific name for sharks, and I pulled like a component of their scientific name to name them Aerodons, which I actually really like the name.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know that's where the name came from. Cool. So I picked that and made a barbarian, but I didn't want to just play the basic, I'm a dumb barbarian, I hit everything. And rolled decent stats. I think I have like a 12, 13 intelligence and wisdom, so I'm not dumb, but I decided to make him more naive. Think of a farm boy. He grew up in a town that we named Sharkgrass, right?
We did.
Yes.
Yep.
Because most of this came up on the fly during game, that bouncing ideas off in game and just improvising, and we came up with all of this. So he came from Sharkgrass, and it's a town of maybe 30 people.
Yeah, it's pretty small.
Almost all Aerodon, a couple other more hermit-type people.
There were 2 other people that were not Aerodons. We had one sea Nixie.
Yeah, so there was a Nixie, I remember that.
One of the dolphin, the Incantado.
Yes. But other than that, we were all just sharks, and with that, we kind of built the backstory of this race on the fly, of them being a very communal, and so the male sharks go off on when they get of age, so it's a matriarchal society. So I was still living with my mom, coming of age, and she was her eggs, she had a pair of eggs. Was nesting. And the party met up with me, and we all shared in the big communal meal that the city has every day. And then they got to see the eggs hatch of my new little brother and sister, and with that, it kind of signaled the time for me to go out into the world on my own and experience the world and become a full-fledged Aerodon. So I went with the party, and we went up to the surface, and I got to be Jaws and bite the ass end off of a boat. That was fun. Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't know him.
Yeah, there was other party members up who could breathe above, like in the air, who were up on the boat trying to debate with these people, explaining why the nets were causing problems and trying to get them to just relinquish them. And me, again, being a barbarian, I did get a little bored. I didn't know. It was like, we got to get rid of these nets. All right. And just bit the back end. The boat starts sinking, and one of the party who was on the next boat over went, yeah, we don't know them, and rolled a really high deception check.
Mm-hmm. They're not with us.
Yeah, I don't know who he is.
I mean, they didn't have much success over on that boat either, though.
No.
People were not exactly nice, friendly, accommodating individuals.
Right. So with that, it's just we've kind of built the whole backstory of Aerodons as we went along. So it's been really fun. first time I've had a character for a like long-term game like this that I didn't have pages of backstory pre-written.
I don't know. I think it's been really interesting, though.
Yeah, it's been challenging trying to figure out who he is, what he does, why, but I've been enjoying it.
He's a person. He's got to figure it all out. All right. So we said we never did a character profile for Karash because I am a failure.
Yeah.
But we did do the 1-year character profiles like we discussed. Someone didn't do his homework.
No, I was a bad boy. It's still sitting down there blank, so...
We're going to fill his out live on the air for you guys because that's... Yeah.
It also works out because last session you completely changed my character, kind of, not unintentionally, but I think unexpectedly.
Before we get into this, let's discuss that so that they have some context going into these questions.
So we are in the game, we're trying to find the ancient gods that have been kind of pushed out, no longer gods, no longer believed in. There's now the ever-burning one who kind of rules everything, but we're looking into the 7 ancient gods. And it has led us through various paths of investigation. And we ended up inside of this cave of the Forgotten Ones?
It is the Burrow of the Forsaken.
Forsaken, that's what it was. So in there, we start encountering these ghosts of various creatures who had passed away. Through a little trial and error, we figured out what we needed to do was whatever they were trying to do, whatever they were wanting, we needed to do that for them to kind of appease their soul. I go up and my character didn't know what it was, but it was a gnoll ghost who presents out a plate of food. I don't remember if he said anything.
He did. He was like, you try, you like. Because I couldn't come up with anything
so
better to say.
You try, you like. So I took the food and ate it. And it appeased his soul, but then I had to make, I think it was a wisdom saving throw.
It was a wisdom saving throw.
And
DC 14.
And I rolled really bad, but I'm kind of glad I did because this is awesome. And I know I've referenced this on other things, but I'll still do it here. If anyone's seen the episode of Star Trek The Next Generation called The Inner Light, where Picard experiences another person's life completely from beginning to end, and then comes back into his own body. That happened to me. I experienced this Gnoll's life from birth all the way to when he was a chef on a boat that sunk out in the ocean, and that's where he died. And in game, she just kind of gave little snippets of, you see this, and then a little while later, this happened, and so it was only a couple minutes in game just because...
Yeah, we didn't want to take forever going through each... For anyone who failed to save, I didn't want to take 30 minutes to an hour to kind of describe their entire life, but I do have backstories for each of these ghosts if people are interested, and Joe was.
Oh, yeah. So all of a sudden, I wake back up in this cave. It's been 2 seconds, but for me, it's been a lifetime. And now I'm struggling to figure out what's real, what's fake. Is this the dream? Was that a dream? Was that real and this is real? And I haven't really got a chance to play much because that was our last session, but it has very much changed Karash and his whole backstory and his way of looking at things. He also now understands what the surface is and how the surface society works.
Yeah. At
least from a good Gnoll's perspective.
And this plays into your character also, because you took Path of the Storm Herald.
Yes.
So do you want to tell them what we did, since you can't get a water breathing and a swim speed?
When you hit level 6, I've been taking I think it's Path of Storm. I can't remember which one.
It's Path of the Storm Herald.
Storm Herald, but then in there's like 3 different ones.
You took the C.
That's what it was. I took C, and we were already level 5, and we had discussed this beforehand, but it worked out perfectly, because at the end of that session, we hit level 6. And when you take that, you get a swim speed, and you can breathe underwater. I already can do that. It's an underwater game. So you gave me a fly speed, and I can breathe above the water. Mm-hmm. So it worked out that right when I found out about the surface world, I can now interact with the surface world. It just hasn't come up yet. Yep. And none of the other party, unless they're watching this video, hello everyone, knows that I can do that yet.
It's going to blow their fucking
minds. Yeah. Because I'm sure at some point we're going to have to go up to the surface, and all of a sudden I'm just flying around, flying shark.
It's going to come up.
I need to get one of those little remote-controlled flying sharks. And then when we go up the surface, just have it kind of come out of the back room. Like, that's me.
That's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta put little legs and arms on it with a sword.
Right. Axe. I fight with an axe. Come on now.
Marital love, it's fine.
I was about to just lick your hand, but then I realized, COVID.
And then we can make a joke about divorce rates with the quarantine going on. Remember, I was like, day 3. He's driving me nuts.
Well, we're up to about, what, day 6, 7?
Yeah.
I don't know. They all blurred together.
I was hoping we'd make it through this video without talking about coronavirus.
Sorry, cut all that. Gone.
You know it's not going to get cut.
No.
Anyway, is there anything else relevant about your character before we dive into the character profile that you think we need to cover?
The only, big part of his personality is... I'm playing him kind of how I looked at it as a friendly barbarian. He's naive. He goes up to everyone and talks and is super happy. And the only time I've ever raged this whole game, and I don't think the party's realized this.
They haven't.
I won't I rolled high, so it's my turn first. I rage and attack. I only attack or rage when the other people in my party get attacked first. Because that's what angers me, is my friends being in danger. So it's a different take on the classic barbarian.
And I mean, you've always taken your characters and some of the more nuanced choices with them to the next level, in my opinion. It was like in our last game where people didn't realize that you actually cared what happened to Kim's character.
Yes.
Nymphadora.
Yeah.
Because she stayed behind and helped you when you guys were trapped in
She was really the first person his entire life who cared and looked out for him, and it probably would be infatuation and love, but Karash had no idea what it was.
That's not Karash.
Sorry.
Was Gorobok.
Names.
Yeah, leave it to me to confuse the fuck out of my husband.
So yeah, that was Gorobok, and he was infatuated with her, but had no way of expressing it because he didn't know what he was doing. He didn't even know what it was. He just knew he had some sort of connection with her, but would never say it. I don't even think Kim realized that.
She didn't. She never did. Kim's characters tend to be very naive. I think she leans into that really easily.
Yeah,
so.
But it was fun to do that because there were moments that afterwards I'm like, after game when we're talking and you're like, yeah, why'd you do that? And I'm like, oh, I did that because this, and you're like, oh, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
That's always fun when I can even do stuff that the DM doesn't pick up on. I was like,
the fuck?
It's fun.
It's always fun. Yeah. Okay, so back to Karash.
Yes.
Karash. Gorobok. Karash.
Yeah.
Okay. Barbarian. Let's do this. Right off the bat. Have you discovered anything new about your character since starting this campaign?
Well, I think we just went over that. The whole Noel storyline, and that's very big difference for him since the beginning.
Yep, and the rage.
Yeah, and the rage.
Whenever
that wasn't
people you care about get hurt.
That wasn't planned at the beginning. I was just kind of making a naive... when I built this character, my idea was friendly barbarian. How can I make a friendly barbarian? And that's just kind of what came of it.
Yep. And that kind of leads into the next question. What does Karash care about?
More than anything else, he cares about the other people in the party and what they want. He has no tie or desire about finding out about the gods or what they did or why. He's never dealt with the ever-burning one. That wasn't a part of his life when he grew up. And he's just like, hey, these people are nice and I'm going out in the world, and he's created bonds with them and they care about. So he cares, but it's because they do, not because it means anything to him.
Now, here's another interesting question with that. All the stuff that you guys are dealing with right now affects the entire world.
Right.
Does he ever think about his mom and his little brother and sister and what's going to happen to them because he's not with them?
It's being that this is normal for Eridon, that when they hit of age, they kind of go out on their own and a lot of times never see them again or never deal. It's one of those, it's in the back of the mind. It's like, oh yeah, I have a mom. She's there. But he doesn't expect to ever see her or interact with her again, so it doesn't really... He doesn't worry about it because that's just kind of normal.
What's his biggest fear?
Biggest fear? And this was, again, an unexpected thing. I think his biggest fear is what's going to happen to everyone else, because he very much is the strongest person in the party.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. Yes, there's other people that are better at other stuff, because that's how D&D works. But he almost looks like he's kind of taken it on himself to be the protector. I got to make sure I keep these people safe so they can do and focus on what they want. So he kind of fears that he's going to fail it.
Does he have any secrets?
Honestly, not really. I mean, maybe now with the whole Noel thing, but leading up to that, he's been kind of an open book. He's never had reason to keep secrets.
Now I'm getting ideas.
Yeah. So it's never been, he's pretty much, it was weird for him and it was tough for him to lie to the shopkeep about not being able to read to try to get a child's book.
Yeah.
He's just never been that kind of person.
Why is he still on this journey, or why do you think that he will continue along this path? Is there anything that can make him not continue? Because I think that's a better question given how you've answered previous ones.
Because obviously the reason he's here is to protect these people that he is...
come to care about, and they're kind of his extended family.
I don't know if there's something he wouldn't... Like, I can't think of anything...
Where's the line for him?
Yeah, that I don't know. Because...
Everyone has a line.
Yeah, because he is very loyal to them, so I don't know what he would be more loyal to. Because with how he sees his family, his past, it's not even like, oh, you're shark... Like, he wouldn't even if Sharkgrass was getting attacked, I don't think.
So, you were with them when they were in the prophecy dungeon.
Yes.
So, what about... Because there were some... possible futures that were given to you guys in the living murals on the walls. Betrayal within the party. Would that do it?
Yeah, that's a good one. Betrayal within the party.
Like, if Kim's mind, if the mind of Ula was taken over by the ever-burning one, and she was forced against her will to fight against you guys and betray everyone. But you guys didn't know that, because there's no way for you guys to know what's happening, really.
If I didn't know, I mean, I think he would very much be needs of the many over needs of the few. If there's one person that for some reason turns on the other party, he's going to try to attack or do something to that or stop that person to protect the larger group.
Right.
But
is that going to sow doubt within him, though? I
think it would depend on how the person role-played it afterwards. Mm-hmm. Assuming we didn't just outright kill them. If we were able to stop it, if we were able to... Or even if, like, we think we stopped it, but it's really that the person is making a better deception. And I think it would depend on how it's played out. If he believes that, I don't know what came over me, something was in my mind and I couldn't stop myself, and if he believes that, he'll probably be fine with it. Because he, again, with never really lying, always being an open book, he just kind of assumes everyone is. So if someone says, no, that wasn't me, I don't know, something, and he's obviously experienced being possessed by this Knoll, and he's seen the ghost possess another character. Mm-hmm. So if someone said, yeah, I was possessed, he'd probably be like, okay, well, let's try not to have that happen again. Even if they still are and he has no clue.
Right. What does he value in other people?
I don't know if it's value, but it's kind of what I was just saying. It's like it would be the closest thing to value is he just kind of expects that everyone is honest. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah, honesty, loyalty, that kind of stuff.
And it's not even that's like what he values. It's just kind of what he expects of everyone, because that's how he is. That's how everyone he's met is. That when he grew up. So like I said, it's very much that gullible. Well, first time in the big city, and the mugger comes up and says, "Here, let me hold your bag for you," and runs off with it. Well, what happened? They were holding my bag.
And now you guys are in a sea that is predominantly Aerodon. Does he assume that all of them are the way he is?
I know, and we've done this a few times. Like it's not confused, but curious. He's been watching other Aerodon and seeing how they interact, because there's a lot of male Aerodon, and he's never been around a lot of males.
Right.
They don't, where he grew up, they don't congregate. They go off on their own and kind of just are lone wolves.
But now he's kind of seeing, because you guys got to the capital city at the end of this, where all the female Aerodon kind of congregate within the Crown Guard and the sea.
And he almost feels more comfortable there than when we were dealing with more male Aerodon.
Right, like out in the other settlements.
Yeah, I can't remember that smaller city that we came into first.
The first one or the second one? Because you went into Aberdeen, which was...
the one that was just outside of where the underground cave was, that they told us that...
I'm pretty sure that was Aberdeen.
Okay, because in there was a lot of male around, and he just didn't really know how to interact.
You did talk to someone, though.
I did, just trying to figure it out.
Right. Does he have any dreams? Aspirations?
Aspirations. Not yet. I think just because he's kind of doing what was expected of him. He came of age and he left. I think as we go on, it probably will develop, but it hasn't yet.
And is there anyone in his past who has wronged him or betrayed him on some sort of visceral level?
Not really. Not that he knows of. There might be something that happened in the past that he doesn't know about. Yeah. The evil DM fingers.
Only sometimes. Or this one. Yeah. I do this one a lot too.
Because who knows, maybe there's a reason that he was in this settlement out in the middle of nowhere and not part of society. Because we've seen Aerodon in society.
Right.
So who knows? There might be some reason that happened that he doesn't know about. That's all up to you.
Name something he would kill to learn.
Kill to learn?
Mm-hmm. Interpretation, obviously.
Yeah.
literal or figurative.
Right.
Definitely had some people go literal with that one.
But kill to learn. I don't know. I'm really trying to kind of thinking about it, but I don't know. Just because I think part of it is being so open about everything. There's no mystery. There's no that I'm thinking of off the top of my head. Maybe he would want to know more about the rest of the party, but I don't know other than just learning more about the people around him. Again, I mean, yeah, he tried to help, and he did help a little bit on their investigation for more information, but that wasn't that he wanted it. He wanted the information for them.
What have you enjoyed most about this game so far, and or what would you like to experience moving forward?
I'm really enjoying how much of it is role-play driven.
Right.
How much of it is more intrigue.
And that's really been based on you guys as a gaming group. Because I've never had a group that wanted to role play and learn so much about their characters' inner workings before. So,
because I've played a lot of games where it's the basic, get a little bit of info, go do a dungeon crawl, fight a boss battle, keep going. We go sometimes weeks without fights.
Right. I try to slip them in because I've got a couple people who are like, I want to roll dice.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously love dice. I have close to 1,600 sitting right there. But there's been multiple games where I either don't, or I might roll the dice once or twice the whole night. Mm-hmm. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I love it because it's all interactions and characters and talking and thinking and having to really get into the mind of the character.
Growth.
Yeah. And I mean, this is a role-playing game, so I really like playing the role. I like trying to get into this character's head. In a fight, he's a barbarian. In a fight, it's easy. I go up to the nearest thing, I hit it with an axe. Mm-hmm. It didn't die, I hit it again. So I enjoy having to push myself past that in the roleplay part. And I've had some problems with him just because he doesn't know that much. He doesn't have that much history or knowledge. And trying to figure out how he would react in these situations has been tough, but fun.
I think he's an interesting character.
Yeah.
Is there anything else our audience needs to know about Karash?
I don't know. Not that I can think of.
Okay.
I guess I can say the fun. I mean, some people might already have caught, if we're pronouncing it anywhere close, but I'm terrible with coming up with names. I'm terrible with remembering names. That's why I got Karash and Gorbok confused right now.
Yep.
And I've always used fantasynamegenerator.com, I think it is.
Yeah, I use that one all the freaking time.
But there, for some reason, isn't a shark person category of names. I mean, come on now. So I was struggling to come up with a name, so I just ended up putting shark into Google Translate and clicking random languages. And I'm sorry, I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong, but that's what came up when I hit Arabic. Arabic. Exactly, they pronounced that wrong. But yeah, I just come up to Arabic and it said Karash, and I'm like, that's a cool sounding name.
It is.
So that's actually where his name came from.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm sorry, I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong. I don't speak Arabic. That's what popped up and it sounded cool.
That's fun.
Yeah.
So that's Karash, my husband's character in our underwater campaign right now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. If you have any questions for either of us, really, you can throw those down in the comments. We're both pretty active on my videos.
We'll be watching.
So, until next time, keep it rolling, adventurers.